And in paragraph 12, which is where he starts talking about the burden of labor, he says, and two things add to your pain and trouble. First, it costs a lot, $3 and up. And worst of all, what you're paying for is the privilege of doing the work that should be done by those who take your money. The coffee shop experience is just one instance of the growing practice of shifting the burden of labor to the consumer. Gas stations, grocery and drugstores, bagel shops. Why should I put my own cream cheese? Airline check-ins, parking lots. It's insert this, swipe that, choose credit or debit, enter your PIN, push the red button, error, start again. At least when you go on a vacation that involves working on a ranch, the work is something you've chosen. But none of us has chosen to take over the jobs of those we pay to serve us. So what he's really talking about here is that this coordination problem didn't used to occur because we used to pay for a service, and that service is done by people in the service industry. And today, we pay for our service, and then we do the service ourselves. So if you think about grocery stores, we have self-checkouts. When you order a bagel from a place like Starbucks or Seattle's Best or another coffee bar, you actually have to put your own cream cheese on it. They won't put the cream cheese on for you. Gas stations, they used to actually pump your own gas. I think maybe in New Jersey they still get the gas for you, but you no longer have somebody pumping your gas. Now it's self-service. You have to serve yourself. Same thing for airlines. When you go to the airline, the airport, you can go to a self kiosk and do everything yourself. Check in yourself, get your own boarding pass, and then go through security. So these things are just like the coffee. The burden of labor is shifting to the consumer. It's changing from the person in the service industry to the person who is paying for the service. So in order to show us this process of the burden of labor shifting, he chose to discuss specifically the process of getting coffee. And this is to entertain the reader more than anything. Most of us have gotten coffee at some point in our lives. And if we haven't gotten coffee, he actually decides to write this essay in the second person. And if we go back here to our review, right, and we look at the difference between a set of instructions and a process explanation, although getting coffee is hard to do, it's definitely a process explanation. It is written in the second person. And it's not following the guidelines that our chapter goes over because it's not in the first or third person, it's in the second person. But the idea here is to involve the reader more. Have you be the subject of the essay so that you feel like you're part of this process. And by doing that, we fulfill his purpose, right? To show readers that the burden of labor is shifting to the consumer. You are the consumer. So not only is he discussing how the burden of labor is shifting to you, but he, in his writing, is actually shifting it to you as well. It's kind of a, he's using the point of view in this essay as kind of a metaphor for what's happening in the way that we get coffee now. Although it is written in the second person, it is still a process explanation, so it's not a set of instructions, in other words. So he's not commanding the reader to do anything. So he's not writing this in the imperative mood. He's simply using, he's writing this in present tense. He's not using the imperative mood. He's not writing it using commands. We know that this is in the present tense because if we look at all the verbs here, all the verbs are in the present tense. So I have an example here on the screen. A coordination problem occurs when you have a task to perform. The task has multiple and shifting components. The time for completion is limited, and your performance is affected by the order and sequence of actions you take. All of those verbs are in the present tense.